when bhakti becomes bhajan, Srila Prabhupada now explains more about the important difference between archan and bhajan. Archan is performed with the gross physical body and the subtle mental body. That means that the particular mood and mentality connected with the gross and subtle bodies are still more or less there. But in bhajan, the devotee's particular mentality and physical conditioning are diminishing, and his sambandha gyan and aprakata mood are becoming more prominent. Finally, when devotees like Rupa and Sanatana Goswami perform bhajan, all connection with the gross and subtle body has disappeared. We've actually read this already, haven't we?
Yes.
We've read the next one, bhajan at the end of night, I think. Yeah. Okay, so we'll go on to leaving worldly desires. Srila Prabhupada, it's on page 10. Srila Prabhupada has explained all these matters in this introduction, so we should listen patiently and attentively. Those who want to do bhajan like this should follow the instructions and example of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and all the previous acharyas. Now Srila Prabhupada explains that to perform constant bhajan, we must become niskinchan. A niskinchan devotee is one who doesn't have any worldly desires. Kam, krodh, lobha, moha, mada, and matsarya have all gone. 6 enemies. Kam, lust, krodha, anger, lobha, greed, moha, madness. Matsarya is envy. Mada.
Mada's madness. Moha's illusion, I think.
Okay, great. Yeah, you're right. Good. Narayani, Hare Krishna. Hari Bol. You can unmute yourself. Unmute the microphone. Yeah.
Sorry.
You have Hare Krishna. Do you have the book?
I don't know what book you're reading.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'll send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
I'll put what I'll do. I'll put it in the chat. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay. That's it. PDF. Let me read PDF. And we're on page 10.
Thank you.
Welcome. Niskinchan devotees completely follow the first shloka of Sri Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamrit. Vacho vegan, manasa krodha vegan. They have controlled anger, the urge to speak, and the demands of the tongue, the belly, the genitals, and the mind. They follow all the shlokas of Upadeshamrit. They also follow Sriman Mahaprabhu's shloka, number 4. Nadanang na janang na sundaring kavitang va jagadisha kamaye. Mama janmani janmani share bhavatad bhakti rahoitipikoy. Means, I don't want money, followers, beautiful ladies, worldly poetry and learning. None of that. Oh, controller of the world. Just birth after birth, I want your causeless devotional service. These Vaishnavas are called Niskinchan, Akinchan Vaishnavas. Niskinchan Vaishnavas will understand all these instructions. And if we want to be Niskinchan Vaishnavas and follow the path which the Niskinchan Vaishnavas have followed, then we should understand all these instructions as well. Narayani, you've got a lot of noise on your microphone. Maybe if you turn it off until you actually talk, okay?
Yeah, no problem. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Our first business is to try to give up all bad sangha. That means we have to give up the association of Mayavadis, Sahajas, and all kinds of abhakta, non-devotees. We should especially avoid those who are diving into sense gratification, worldly desires, and worldly activity. We must give up their association, otherwise their worldly desires will enter our hearts and will go down again. If we act according to these standards, then we can perform Ashtakalya sadhana and bhajan. Ashtakalya sadhana means remembering the pastimes of Krishna, Radha Krishna, in the 8 periods of the day. Otherwise, it's not possible. No one can perform bhajan 24 hours daily unless he has left his worldly desires, has completely followed the first, second, and third shlokas of Upadeshamrita, has followed Manashiksha from beginning to end, and is not an Akinchan Vaishnava. We can, seems to me, must be an Akinchan Vaishnava. We can only perform Ashtakalya bhajan when all kinds of desires and offenses and anarthas have been removed. If we want to serve Krishna, if we want to follow the disciplic path or way established by our gurus, we will have to give up all kinds of bhog, material enjoyment, tyag, false renunciation, and the association of all kinds of non-devotee abhaktas. If we don't give up this association, it will become an obstacle to achieving our aim and object, which is to serve Krishna. Those who are jnanis, karmis, and yogis, even those engaged in mishra bhakti rather than pure bhakti, cannot have even a little ruchi, taste in their bhajan, so they cannot honor this book. But those of us who want to enter into bhajan rahasya must honor it and follow its instruction. This is what we've come for. Some of you are here because you have heard the teachings of your Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. We have come here because we heard from our Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Keshav Goswami Maharaj. Some of you have come here after hearing from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. In any case, we have not come to fulfill our worldly desires. We have come for one purpose only, and that is to serve Krishna. So if we want to serve, to engage in actual seva, we will have to give up all the unfavorable things that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur will explain later. We should read this book and we should understand and practice everything that he's telling us. How can you preach if you don't know all these things? You may try to preach, but what kind of preaching can you do? Next one.
What is our aim and object? First, try to understand all the instructions in this book. We must know what is the aim and object of sadhana bhajan. We must know whether we are only performing archan or whether we are actually trying to enter into bhajan. You may think that we are engaged in so much devotional service and so much preaching work, but we must be careful. If we are not trying to do bhajan, if we are not trying to enter into the realm of bhakti, then all these activities are karma marg. Karma. They are actually material activities. We should learn all these very deep and secret meanings of bhajan. Only then should we try to help others. Otherwise, instead of helping others, we will sink down onto their level.
Take the next one as well, Bala.
Deeper meaning of the Maha Mantra. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur points out that the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra consists of 16 names in 8 pairs. These 8 pairs of names correspond to the 8 slokas of Sri Suksastikam. The significance of the first pair of names, Hare Krishna, is defeating ignorance and performing Harinam with faith, Shraddha. If one performs Harinam with Shraddha, avidya will go away. Avidya is the opposite of vidya. Vidya means to know Krishna and avidya means to forget Krishna. This is expressed in the first sloka of Sri Suksastikam. The second pair of names is also Hare Krishna. The meaning of the second pair of names is that Krishna has manifest in his names all the power and potencies which are in his Swarup. If one takes shelter of Krishna name and chants his name in Sadhu Sangha, association of pure devotees, he will develop attachment for bhajan. This will not happen otherwise. It is necessary to have impressions, sanskars, in order to start on this path. These past impressions are the result of activities in the past which have created faith and which will lead to bhakti. If we have these past impressions, it is possible to have sadhu sangha, the association of pure devotees. And as a result of his sadhusanga, the devotee may receive Harinam and Diksha from a qualified guru. Then he receives instruction and Siksha. After that, his anarthas will go away if he performs bhajan with Shraddha and Sambandhagyan, but not otherwise. If we chant Harinam in this way, after most of our anarthas have gone, we reach the stage of Nishta, firm faith and steadiness in devotional service. The third pair of names is Krishna Krishna. In this third stage, we consider the quality of character of our sadhan. Chaitanya Charitamrita explains that there are some obstacles in sadhan, so our sadhan should be pure, not loose or impure. There are two things which are very much proposed to Bhakti sadhan. First is Sri Shangi, men being attracted to women, and women being attracted to men. The second obstacle is association with those who are abhakta, Mayavadis, materialists, and everyone else who is opposed to pure devotional service. We must develop a very chaste character and give up all these ideas, activities, and bad association.
Narayani, you like to read?
Yeah, okay. If we continue to chant Harinam with Nishta, then the fourth stage comes and we begin to chant Harinam with Ruchi, taste. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that there are two kinds of Ruchi, Vatsu Vasistya Apekshini and Vatsu Vasistya Anapekshini. We have the first sort of Ruchi, Vatsu Vasistya Apekshini. Then if Takaji is decorated, we think, oh, very good decoration, and we feel so happy. But if Takaji is not nicely decorated, then we don't have so much taste. If the kirtan is going on without a nice rhythm and a sweet tune, we'll not have so much ruchi for it. But if the rhythm and melody are good, and the madanga and kartals are being played nicely, we appreciate it very much. This is ruchi. This ruchi is called Vatsu Vasistya Apeksini. The second type of ruchi comes when we continue to chant Harinam in Vaishnava Sangha with Shraddha and Nishta. This stage is called Vatsu Vasistya Anapekshini. At this stage, we are not so concerned whether Takaji is decorated or not decorated. If a kirtan is without good rhythm and melody, then we think no harm. And if playing and singing are experts, then very good. We can say that Srila Gaura Kishora Das Babaji Maharaj, Das Babaji Maharaj's Ruchi was like Vatsu Vasistya Anapekshini. The same is true for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He did not see Jagannath Deva in the way that we see him. We see Jagannath Deva as being not so much like Krishna. He has two round eyes, no beautiful hands, no flutes, no crown, and no peacock feather. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not see him like this. When he saw Jagannath Deva, he ran after him without external sense to catch hold of him. We will see that Jagannath has two big round eyes and that he is not so beautiful. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw him as Sakshad, Rajendra Nandana, directly Sri Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj. On another occasion, he heard a Deva Dasi singing Gita Govinda, Shita Kamala Kucha Mandala, Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. I can't say whether the singer was a pure Vaishnava like Madhava Devi. Maybe she was, and maybe she was not. In any case, she was singing in the forest, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ran after her. This is Ruchi. Of course, we can't compare Mahaprabhu with ourselves. He not only has Ruchi, but Mahabhav and all the other ecstasies as well. I'm just giving this as an example of the difference between the two different types of Ruchi. The fifth pair of names is Hariram, and at this fifth stage, Smarana is also added. Smarana means remembering the pastimes of Krishna. In remembering these pastimes, we should know that there is an important difference between the pastimes in Braj and the pastimes elsewhere. In Braj, there is no Shuddha Dasyaras and no Shuddha Santaras. There is Santaras, but it is always covered, and Dasyaras is always mixed with Sakya or Vatsalya. In the sixth
what's the significance of that?
My understanding is very limited, so I need to check things. Sakya and Vatsalya is a different moods. Is one parental? Am I correct?
Yeah. Sakya Ras is friendship mood.
Friendship mood.
Vatsalya is parental mood.
Yeah.
So Gurudev is saying that there's no pure Dasyaras, means there's no pure service mood in Braj.
Right.
So, for example, there are servants. Krishna has servants, but they're servants of Nanda Baba. They're not servants of Krishna. So they have some service mood towards him, but it's mixed with friendship.
Yeah, it's duty.
And then
not duty, no.
Oh, okay.
And then Shuddha Shantaras means there's no neutrality there. Because Shantaras means neutral, means there's no active service, but everyone in Braj is engaged in some kind of active service.
Right.
But so Gurudev says there is Shantaras there, but it's always covered. So, for example, the trees and the flowers, elsewhere, trees and flowers, or the earth may be in Shantaras, neutral. But in Braj, there's something else as well.
Right. Like when they cling to him when he wants to leave the forest.
Okay.
The sixth pair of names is also Hari Ram. At this stage, our ruchi for the material world will decrease. Our worldly desires will go away, and our ruchi towards Krishna will become solid and very strong. Now for the seventh pair of names, Rama Rama. This is no Hari here, only Rama, Rama Rama. This is Vipralamba. The devotee will feel the mood of separation, Vipralamba Bhav, here. When will I have the service of Radha and Krishna? That desire will come at this stage. Then the eighth pair of names is Hari Hari. At this eighth stage, Shuddha Sattva will manifest itself, and that gives Gopi Bhav. Gopi Bhav will come.
Thank you. Pali, you can read?
Acharyas and Sahajas. This is a very brief summary of the regular and systematic way of progressing on the devotional path. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving us the instructions that he has collected from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Bhujan and all other important books. He has also collected teachings and realizations from Srila Swarup Damodar and from Srila Roy Ramananda and from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the Gambhir. Srila Swarup Damodar personally instructed Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, who in turn gave these instructions to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has collected all of these instructions and is passing them on to us. This is the regular way to develop Gopi Bhav and that type of seva to Radha and Krishna in Braj. As long as we follow the acharyas and practice in this way, we are on the regular approved path. We want to go on like this. It is not sahaja to have greed to develop in this way and to have Gopi Bhav service to Radha and Krishna in that mood. Not at all is it those who are not following this systematic process who are sahajas. To understand. Not at all is it those who are not following.
There's a lack of punctuation there. It should be. Gurudev is saying it's not sahaja to have greed to develop in this way. It's not sahaja to have Gopi Bhav, service to Radha and Krishna in that mode.
Yeah.
Not at all. It's those who are not following this systematic process who are sahajas.
Our aim and last goal is Rupa Goswami's mood. The devotee has greed for this. It doesn't matter what condition he is at present, or whether he's following rules and regulations. If he follows the path, then he will surely achieve his goal. But we should know clearly that this can only be achieved in the association of Rasik and Tattva and Vaishnava. That then the whole process will be managed by Krishna himself and his associates. Our success depends on our having past impressions. Without them, we can't realize these things. Although this is the path Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written, many people ask me, why do you read Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ujjwala Nilamani, and the books of Srila Radhanadas Goswami, Srila Vishnu Bhakti Thakur? All these books must be written by Sahajas because those who read them are all Sahajas. So why do you read them? Actually,
Srila Gurudev's writing this, he's speaking this in 1996. So the ISKCON leaders were accusing him of being Sahaja.
yes,
So he's answering this accusation.
yes.
Yeah.
Actually, this belief is false. The acharyas who wrote these books, Srila Rupa Goswami and Radhanadas Goswami, are certainly not Sahajas. They are the most authorized devotees, and they have described and explained that our ultimate goal, ultimate goal
Oh,
is that is also not true, and that all those who would read these books are Sahajas. This is nonsense. Why should we not read these books? Those who are qualified to read these books, read them. Qualified devotees will read Virat Goswami, Braja Vilasa, Chatu Pushpanjali from Sri Stabhamala, and many other books by the Goswamis and other bona fide authors. We do not become Sahajas by reading these books. Sahajas are those who gallop through all the states and stages without hearing from authorities, without understanding properly, without being qualified. And if someone comes to them, they once give that person so-called Siddha spiritual body, whether he is qualified or full of anarthas. These are the Sahajas, not those who pass step by step through the various stages which Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has described, and which are laid up in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is not a Sahaja, neither is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Although he himself declared that he is Nayana Manjari, it is simply false to say that all those who read his literatures are Sahajas. Those who are qualified and who progress systematically, step by step, should read all these literatures. This is the only way. The Sahajas are, and those who do not follow the guidelines and the systematic path established by the Acharyas. This is the Sahajas are those who do not follow the guidelines and the systematic path established by the Acharyas. This is the main difference between Sahajas and Siddha Vaishnavas. We should try to be Siddha Vaishnavas.
a step-by-step process. At this point, someone may ask why Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has described the results of chanting in this way. His reply is that it is be given like this in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.4.15.16. Adaushadha tatasadu sangha bhajana kriya stonarta nivrittisya donishta ruchistata tasaktistato bhavas tatah prema dutanshiti sadhakanamayam ayam premna pradubhave bhavetkraha. This is the step-by-step process. Adau Shraddha. It all begins with Shraddha, and that faith makes it possible to have sadhu sangha. Then we may ask, from where has Shraddha come? The answer is that Shraddha comes from past impressions, which are the results of coming in touch with Tadiya, people, places, and things which have a direct relationship with the Lord. Past impressions may have come from hearing about his name, his form, his qualities, and his pastimes. Or he may have come in contact with Tulsi, Yamuna, Ganga, Giridhari, or the holy Dham, Rajadham or Navadip Dham. The contact may be knowing or unknowing, intentional or unintentional. In any case, coming in touch with any or all of the Tadiya Vastu. These things, Tadiya means is those things which are closely connected with Krishna, produces Sukriti, and it is this Sukriti which creates Shraddha. After Shraddha comes Sadhu Sangha. We will develop a taste to follow Vaishnava sadhus. But those who have no Sukriti will not develop such a desire. I'm speaking Harikatha here, and you are listening. But if someone has no past impressions, or they're making offenses, or acting against the rules and regulations of bhakti, they will avoid this Harikatha. Even if they come and sit down here, they will either sleep or they'll be distracted by other concerns. The body may be sitting here, but the mind will be wandering here and there, thinking about so many problems. Only those with past impressions can appreciate sadhu sangha. Actual sadhu sangha means hearing and seeing how that sadhu is following the bhakti process and trying to follow him internally and externally. That's a really important definition of sadhu sangha. Actual sadhu sangha means hearing and seeing how that sadhu is following the bhakti process and trying to follow him internally and externally. When we have real sadhu sangha, we will automatically practice all the 9 kinds of bhakti, beginning with hearing. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. We will also automatically practice the 5 essential forms of bhakti that Lord Chaitanya has particularly recommended. Sadhu Sangha, associating with devotees. Nama Kirtan, chanting the Lord's holy names. Bhagavata Shravan, hearing from qualified Vaishnavas. Mathura Vas, living in holy places such as Mathura. Sri Murtir Shraddhaya Sevanam, serving the Archavigraha deity with faith. If someone is reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita with any qualified Vaishnava, if he's hearing and doing Anushilanam, cultivating Krishna consciousness by following his teacher and previous acharyas, I think that he is sure to have lobha, greed. It will surely come. So those 5 elements of bhakti, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains 64 items of bhakti to Sri Sanatana Goswami, and at the end, he repeated these 5. Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtan Bhagavata Shravan Matuvas Shraddheshi Mutira Sevan. Those are especially powerful. Amongst the 64, those are especially powerful.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
So, when you were defining reading, about Sukriti,
yeah,
that was, impressions were mentioned in relation to this Sukriti. So, what is the difference between Sukriti and Samskars then?
Just a minute. Only those with past impressions can appreciate.
Because Samskars is also impressions in the heart, isn't it? From the past.
Yeah. Srila Gurudev personally wrote to me that we do not make advancement by Sukriti. We make advancement by Sanskar.
Really?
Yeah.
He wrote that to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so we make advancement, but Samskars are the impressions, aren't they? Isn't that right? Impressions.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is.
He often used to say at the beginning, when he was giving class, he would often talk about impressions, only those who have these past life impressions, only then they can take up this, process. So does Sukriti create samskars or impressions, or the samskars come from direct contact with the Vaishnavas? Because samskars, like when we perform, say, ritualistic samskars, like marriage, diksha and name and grains and all that, all those samskars are purificatory rituals to create some impression in the heart, aren't they?
Right. Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand the difference, that's all, between Sukriti and samskars.
One thing, I mean, if you just take the literal meaning, Sukriti, we've done something favorable.
Yeah.
Samskar means there's an impression.
Yeah.
Which is deeper. So, for example, I don't know why, or Srila Gurudev's usage, but for example, supposing that we get some prasadam accidentally, but we get some prasadam.
Yeah.
Somebody goes past Rath Yatra and he gets offered a plate of halva or something. So there's no particular deep activity or intention on their part. but they're getting Sukriti. My understanding is that my personal understanding is that sanskars come when we're actually engaged in some kind of responsive interaction with tadiya, hearing, chanting, performing bhakti, like that, rather than just accidentally, more or less accidentally. Agyata Sukriti, for example, we talk about Agyata Sukriti,
Yeah.
Sukriti which is created unknowingly.
I mean, I would have thought some of the things that we do give us Sukriti and create sanskars, both.
Yeah, I would think so too.
Hmm.
That's as far as I can go.
Yeah, but I guess it's a specific impression that has more power. It's the impressions that I guess have more power.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Impress. Pushing.
Yeah, I mean, making a mark.
Yes, making a mark.
Hmm.
Okay.
But according to our Sukriti, we get opportunities for sadhu sangha.
Yes.
I mean, the first time I ever met Srila Gurudev in Radlett, 1996,
Right.
all I can remember of it was his whole talk seemed to be about how sadhu sangha is a result of Sukriti.
Right.
So that obviously the Sukriti is pretty important. But then when you get the sadhu sangha, you're getting sanskars.
Yeah.
Impressions.
Yeah. Sukriti, I mean, as I understand, it's like a spiritual bank account.
Right.
And when
Like
the bank
Prabhupada always called it pious credits.
Okay. Yeah, like that. So bank account credits like that.
Yeah.
And when that bank account has come, it's like a premium bond. Oh, I don't know. When
Yeah.
it's come up to a certain point, then you get to meet a sadhu and hear with faith.
Mm. And that gives sanskars, impressions.
Yeah.
Mm.
And we can get sanskars either from there may be sanskars from previous lifetimes, in which case the devotee will immediately be attracted.
Yes, yeah.
Or we can get sanskars in this lifetime by associating with pure devotees.
Mm. Yeah.
Can I ask about what something previous that we said? I didn't want to interrupt at the time. When he was talking about giving up bad association, was it like, is it where you remove yourself from it and don't enter back into it until you've got a decent amount of taste? Like you can only kind of because how do you do outreach if you don't associate?
Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains about association. He says that association, this is in Jaiva Dharma, it's not just physical contact. He says if family members are not favorable to bhakti, it doesn't mean to say that we neglect or reject them.
Yeah,
it's about opening the heart. Association is opening the heart. So if we go out on the street or in some way we're sharing Krishna consciousness with somebody else, we may even listen to them in order to hear what kind of, what is their concept of spirituality, where they are. I mean, if you like, there's a continuum, where they are on that continuum, on the spectrum, if you like, from materialism or worse to pure devotional service. We may hear them, but we're not allowing their erroneous conception to make an impression on our mind.
okay.
So we can preach, it's okay. But at the same time, if we're preaching, it's just like a counselor should have a counselor themselves. So similarly, preaching, yeah, we should also have association with devotees. Otherwise, we will tend to get pulled down.
Okay.
There's one more. Then Bhajana Kriya comes. The devotee watches how Gurudev and the Vaishnavas are performing their sadhana bhajan. Then he will develop a taste to follow by performing sadhana bhajan, not only for 1 or 2 hours, but for 8 hours. In the end, he will try to perform sadhana bhajan 24 hours daily. Then Anartha Nivritti comes. Wow, Anartha Nivritti is already really high stage. Okay, next one. Who's next? Bala? Can't remember. Or Narayana.
It's Narayana, but I can't find where we are.
Developing attachment on page 19.
19, okay.
Developing attachment. If someone who is not free from an artist comes to me, it would be absurd to reveal his Siddhasvarup or Siddhadeha, spiritual body.
That means
That
Gurudev
is-
can see it,
Yeah,
but he wouldn't reveal it.
yeah. That is Sahaja. Those who are following these rules of Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who are trying for this in the proper way, will not be considered to be Sahaja. But if anyone is not following the rules and regulation and not passing through all these stages, then they are bound to be Sahaja. When Nishtha has developed, the mind does not go here and there. It has been established in Sadhana Bhajana and is no longer fickle. Nishtha means Sriha and Sriha Buddhi, steady, fixed intelligence. When Nishtha has developed, the devotee is not disturbed, even when so many opposing elements appear. We can see this in Srila Haridas Thakur's life. The prostitute came to seduce him, but he remained fixed in his chanting and service. The Qazi ordered his servants to kill Haridas Thakur by beating him in 22 marketplaces. They were trying to kill him, but he said, even if I am cut into hundreds of thousands of pieces, I cannot forget Krishna Nam. I will have to chant no matter what happens. I will certainly keep on chanting. This is Nishtha. No matter what kind of problem comes, the devotee remains steady. When Srila Raghunath Das Goswami was a young married man, he kept trying to escape from his home to join Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His mother wanted his father to tie him up, but his father said, it's useless. No one can check a devotee whose heart has been taken by Krishna. This is called Nishtha. We have to judge by our barometer in what stage we are. Do we have Shraddha, or has actual Shraddha not appeared yet? Or are we at the stage of Nishtha or Ruchi? Have our Anatas gone, or are they still with us? We can easily know what stage we have reached by the symptoms. We'll have to try to come to at least the stage of Nishtha. After this stage, Ruchi appears, and after that, a Shakti comes. There are two kinds of a Shakti. One is a Sakti, sorry. There are two kinds of a Sakti. One is attachment to sadhana, and the second is attachment to sadhaniya, the object of our sadhana, namely Krishna and his associates. There are no hard and fast rules regarding which comes first, but usually the devotee develops attachment for sadhana. Mahaprabhu asked Srila Haridas Thakur, what is your sickness? Why are you not taking Mahaprasad? Haridas Thakur replied, I am sick certainly, but my sickness is that I cannot complete my 3 lakhs of Harinam. My body is healthy, the trouble is with my mind and heart, and that's why I'm not completing my 3 lakhs of Harinam daily. Can we try like this? We should fulfill our vow to chant with a strong spirit. I must complete my chanting, whether I remain alive or I lose my life. I will have to complete my chanting. If we are chanting with this determination, first of all, Namabhas will come. And after that, gradually, little by little, we will come to the stage of a Sakti. After this, Bhav will come. To achieve Bhav, we have to receive Shuddha from the hearts of Ragatmikta Krishna Gyan, the associates of Krishna in the spiritual world. That Bhav can be in Dasyaras, or in Sakyaras, or in Vatsalyaras, or if the devotee has greed for Madhurya Ras and is performing the appropriate sadhana for it, then Shuddha will come from some gopi.
So this is actually
Next,
a process
yeah, I know.
that meditating, remembering the pastimes of Radha and Krishna and their associates in the spiritual world, and meditating on the service of some associate, like some gopi, then the moods, when we practice like strongly and purely enough, the moods from those associates will come to us, and gradually we'll also develop that mood of service to Radha and Krishna. And that's
Nice.
Bhav. Shuddha Sattva. Shuddha Sattva means it's Samvit Shakti and Hladini Shakti. Samvit Shakti is knowledge potency, and Hladini Shakti is bliss potency. Mixed come into the heart. So it's like a watershed. When that comes, then we'll be chanting pure Nam.
Next is the stage of Prem. But this cannot appear in this body. It can only come in our next life. Somewhere in the material world where Prakat Leela is going on, then the Sadhaka will take birth in the womb of a gopi. Wow. Prema can be achieved in the body through the association. Prem can be achieved in that body through the association of Nityasiddha devotees. Otherwise, it is not possible.
So when we take birth in Braj, then we have to associate with the Nitya Siddha devotees, means eternally liberated or eternally perfected devotees. And then we can come up from Prem up to Man, up to Rag, and like that. Otherwise, we'll be like some of the gopis, Sadhan Siddha gopis, those that achieved perfection, Prem, but they hadn't come further high enough up, so they associated with their husbands and had babies. And then there was a big complication at the time of Rasa dance. They couldn't get straight out to the Rasa dance. So we have to associate with Nityasiddha devotees. It's 7:27 now. So I think maybe we can conclude here.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj.